Good evening. I am Denise Jauregui, Executive Director of Housing Choices. On behalf of our board and staff, I would like to welcome you to our 25th anniversary virtual celebration. Thank you for joining us. Today, we would like to share with you testimonies of our staff, clients, and the families we serve to provide you a glimpse of our services and the positive impacts on the lives of the people we serve by providing quality, supportive, and affordable housing opportunities for people with developmental disabilities. We would also like to thank our funders and event sponsors, as we wouldn't be able to provide and continue the work that we do. With that said, welcome to our event and thank you for joining us.
I think the first question I would ask you is, how do you like living here?
I love it.
I work at Housing Choices because I like to assist underrepresented communities that need assistance with finding, applying, and securing low-income housing.
Everybody deserves a shelter.
Housing Choices is making a difference because it's giving people a sense of hope and faith again.
Everyone deserves a shelter.
We are here making our community a better place.
Everybody certainly deserves a home.
I work at Housing Choices because I want to help those who've gone through things like what I did, so to help them learn their rights better.
Everyone deserves a home.
I work at Housing Choices because of the compassion.
Everyone deserves a home.
Housing Choices not only supports clients who are homeless, but also clients who are more stable in their housing, or also just clients who are seeking more guidance in their housing journey.
Todos merecemos una casa.
Housing Choices is making a difference because we help underrepresented communities meet their unmet goals.
That I am. I'm really blessed.
Yes.
So my name is Shireen Alinani, and title is I'm the manager for the Homeless Case Management Program and the manager for the Homelessness Prevention Systems. So I've been with Housing Choices for 3.5 years. I started as a housing coordinator, and then I served as a senior housing coordinator, and then I became a manager. I managed the San Mateo County for some time. Over there, I worked for the vouchers for Move to Work voucher program. The pandemic happened, and during the pandemic, I joined the HPS network. I got trained for HPS, and I took care of all these different programs. And I've been taking care of the CMH program ever since. I mostly work with at-risk clients who may be behind on the rent, who may have received a 3-day notice or an eviction notice for the non-payment of rent, or they may have an eviction notice for non-compliance. Any kind of at-risk where a client is at risk of losing housing, that comes under my domain. So that's my CMH program. The second program that I work with is called HPS, which stands for Homelessness Prevention Systems, where basically we work with the county. It's a collaboration of 20 different nonprofits where we help clients apply for rental assistance and financial assistance. It's a short-term rental assistance program where we help families apply for financial assistance, where the financial assistance could help them stabilize their housing. It provides them the cushion that financial assistance could help them temporarily to get back on their feet so they don't lose their housing during that period of time.
So I am a homeless case manager. I basically help families that are at risk of being homeless or basically facing homelessness find housing out here in the San Jose area. I have a client who's been here for a few years already. She's on and off the spectrum, and it's really hard for her to stay stabilized in a home. And, you know, she relies on us heavily because she knows that she can jeopardize her housing, but in the end, like, she really, really tries to do her part as well and, like, work on her work ethic, work on her mental health, basically, you know, use us to her benefit. So I'm really passionate with her. Like, I think I've gotten to know her a lot over these last few months that I've been here. She's really awesome. And, you know, I'm just trying to work on getting her income up there so we can get her a new home and hopefully a lifelong plan for
her. One of my favorite success stories to share with the public is one of my clients has been with us for at least 7 years. He really wanted to be independent. He wanted a studio, a 1-bedroom by himself. Unfortunately, his primary caregiver, which was his mom, unfortunately was not on the same page as him. So I had to talk to mom, talk to caregivers, and convince them that the client was going to be independently successful on his own. I was able to convince the regional center to also get ILS and SLS services for my client, and now he lives in his own studio. He's independent with support staff 24/7, so he is taken care of.
How do you feel that the managers help you with your daily living?
Oh, I know everything to be handled, because if I had a problem, they're right on top of it. You know, all my needs and everything, they're on top of everything.
During grassroots grants, we awarded 100 grants totaling $100,000 to families affected by the pandemic. And this rental relief continued between June 2020 to September 2020. So this was our second phase after the grassroots grants. It was known as SEP, COVID Emergency Homelessness Prevention Program. During this phase, Housing Choices processed $300,000 in emergency rental and financial assistance to 75 families between October 2020 and February 2021. HPS-CV was a third phase during COVID, and we assisted 92 extremely low-income families. In total, we distributed $800,000 in rental assistance and $88,000 in financial assistance.
Can you tell me what is the HPS network?
It's a county-wide network of 20 nonprofit agencies who have come together. During the pandemic, they identified the households that were at risk of being homeless. They were behind on the rent. They were struggling to pay the rent or utilities. The network helped them pay the rent and made sure that they were stably housed in their current dwelling. So this program managed to attain 3 key domains during the pandemic. The very first thing that we achieved during the pandemic was that during the peak of the spread of the virus, because people were provided the rental assistance, it made sure that people stayed home. And just the fact that they stayed home, they quarantined because they didn't have to go out and look for the jobs. And it automatically helped lower the spread of the virus.
How did you find out about Housing Choices?
Through management.
And then how did Housing Choices help you?
They helped me with San Andreas. They helped me with any reasonable accommodations for my son, for my special needs son. You know, any paperwork that I was confused on, whether it's, you know, doctor's form or, you know, the recertification, they always help me. And they always check my work paperwork, and they always make sure it's right. And, you know, they help. That I need a lot of help on that one, because, you know, filling anything paperwork like that, you still have to get a second look on. So they have helped me tremendously on that.
Yeah. And then where do you think you would be without Housing Choices?
Probably in a more expensive apartment without Housing Choices help. They bettered my situation. I feel more confident, more, you know, I have a team behind me and I'm not alone. Housing Choices helped me in many different ways, and I don't, you know, I trust them. You know, they help me with a lot, and I don't know what I would do without them, because, you know, I feel confident, I feel safe. You know, if there's any problem, I go to them and they're there.
And then where do you see yourself in the future?
In a bigger apartment with the help of Housing Choices, because that's what they're working on right now as we speak. We're trying to get a 3-bedroom, and you know they're working on getting a 3-bedroom, but it's going to take time, but they're on it. I just run my errands, and you know my son goes to daycare, and we love it here.
Yeah.
We love it here. Housing Choices has helped us a lot. You know, if there's any problems, you know, we go to Housing Choices and they figure it out, and we deal with the solution, and you know, they're on it.
We support clients of all different backgrounds, whether they're in more precarious circumstances, in shelters or on the streets. We have different teams that are equipped to support them. We also support clients who are in more stable situations, such as living with parents or in care homes, and they're working on building their financial stability up so they can move into their own unit. So we have a wide variety of clients that we work with, and that's also beneficial in my own experience that I'm building to be able to learn how different households operate, what their needs are, what kind of resources support different situations. Working with clients of multiple different backgrounds has been really rewarding for myself and for our organization.
And this is why I entertain my friends. And my kitchen is over here, behind you. It's like cooking here and all that. I like to cook Italian food. I've lived here since 2013.
How did you find this space?
Well, Housing Choices, I think. They helped me get the apartment, right? What they do is they put you on a housing list, and depending upon what your name or, you know, how many people they have on the list, they, you know, you keep going up and up until you get to into the top of the list. But it takes years. There was one time when I had a problem understanding why they were charging me, and I had her, I called her when I needed help with the apartment manager. I hope that, you know, I can enjoy my life.
So my role is as a housing coordinator. Specifically, I'm part of the San Mateo County branch, or the Palo Alto office. And yeah, my main role is just to find housing for our clients, especially those with developmental disabilities. Also help them retain housing and understand their rights, and also you know, fight for their rights too. I had a client, they were being harassed day and night at their property. Their dogs were getting messed with. You know, the client's husband was actually jumped a couple of times, and they really needed to get out of that situation. But because of his criminal background and also low credit scores, it was a hard situation. But you know, after a couple of months after I was assigned the case, we were able to move them out into a safer neighborhood, and also get them around, like, I believe $13,000 in rental assistance. So we were able to secure first month's rent, security deposit, and also rent for the next couple of months. And I think it was up until July. And yeah, ever since then, you know, they haven't had issues. The client's mental state has been well, because at their old residence, she was having episodes because of the constant harassment. And yeah, we were able to get them out. And they were also facing eviction too at the time. And with the help of a community lawyer, yeah, we were able to help them escape eviction as well.
My name is Jennifer Klozowski. I'm 50 years old and I live at 4th Street Apartments.
At your old place, how was it living there, or what was your biggest complaint living there?
Well, they had like 6 apartments, and it was a 2-level building run by that company. They had stairs, and I didn't like going upstairs because we sometimes had classes. They had classes in their facility in order to live at their facility. And I got moved into 2 different facilities, apartments in their building. I lived in a 2-bedroom first with my own bathroom, so I didn't really have to go out unless for class. And then I got moved to their 2nd floor, which I didn't like. And I had difficulties with having roommates. We used to argue about menial things, and I have a temper, and I would get out of hand. So I only lived there 3.5 years compared to living 4th Street since 2009, and I really like it there. A lot of nice neighborhood. We recently got a new manager, and she's great. She's done a lot of new changes in the building, and my RC, which my resident, if I have a problem, then I go to her first, and then if I have another problem, like with anything in the building related, I'll go to the manager. I'll call or email. Well, I like it better here because of the convenience of the light rail. Because I like to take the light rail and go out to shopping or a mall or something to get out, get some exercise. Even though I don't do it a lot, I need to do it. And I don't want to sit and binge watch TV all the time.
And now, since you moved here, what's the best thing that you like about living here?
Just getting to know people, knowing my neighbors, you know.
And
So.
You live by yourself?
Yes, I live by myself. I can't do roommates. So, no, I've done that in the past.
And now that you live by yourself, what do you like the most about it?
Quiet. I can do things that I want to do when I want to do it. The only time I have to answer is to the managers or my resident coordinator. Otherwise, I don't have any problems. I don't cause problems. So I stay to myself. More of a hermit, or you would homebody type of person, unless I want to go out.
As a housing coordinator, our job and our duty is to find apartments in Santa Clara County or wherever the client wants to live in. Once that apartment is found, we do help with the application process. We even take it a step further by helping with the application, such as the interview. Sometimes we do help clients with language barriers. Sometimes they do not know English or little English, so we do help with the language translation from English to Spanish, Spanish to English. So I was able to do that for the client and for the family.
Yeah, because I feel like, regardless, like, home is a framework. Like, home is your safe place. And it's like, I can only imagine how many clients don't feel that way. And that's why, they probably feel so disrupted in their life. Like, they don't have things together. And, that's where frustrations arise and why they're portrayed to us. But like I said, you have to have that extra compassion and patience to work with these clients. And a lot of it is they're scared to ask for help. For example, like my client, like she was already like older, she's scared to ask for help because sometimes they think that we should know these things. But it's like, we're humans, we constantly evolve, we constantly learn, so it's okay to ask for help. I feel that Housing Choices is making an impact to the community because we provide that extra compassion and patience. It's like I said, it's so easy to get, wrapped up in the rules, like rules to resources is what I call it, because there are resources available, but there's not enough. So I feel like with Housing Choices, we have that extra, we have that extra push, we have that extra assistance that's there to help them. And if it goes as far as to explaining the services, explaining the resources, showing them how to apply, I believe that we're always making an impact, whatever it is, because let's say it might not be housing related, we still educated somebody on something that they didn't know of in the first place.
I'm Robert Lopez. Housing Choices helps me with, making sure everything's in working order for me. The repairs are done, and I recently got linoleum in my unit, and that was kind of a good feeling. And I have some neighbors that I talk to, and mostly try to talk to Housing Choices staff, and since the pandemic, I been on Zoom and do my classes and enjoy Zoom, but after a while it gets tiring, and I love to go out and have fun, and I don't go to very many places because of the pandemic, and I like Housing Choices because they help me out, and when I need something, they help me. I'm in the process of going through some housing stuff because there's not a lot of housing for people with disabilities and accommodations, and it's very, very difficult to find affordable housing. You have to write a letter to your council or to the legislatures and write a letter. I haven't wrote a letter ever since, and I gotta get working on that. That's one of my goals, to do that.
I feel like my work has impacted the community by seeing things in a different way. I think as people, we get so caught up in our own lives and forget, other people live a completely different lifestyle than like what we have. And it's always nice because I feel, like with this job in this field, there's a lot of clients that remind me of, that I can be in a different like scenario. Like we don't get to choose like the family that we are born in or grew up in. So I think it's important that, realizing that, like taking a step away, and just acknowledging that creates room for like compassion and patience. And I think it's important to have, because if you don't have patience or compassion, it's kind of like, what are you really like doing like the work for? Because you need to understand, clients and applicants like on a personal and, like mental level, just because, you have to know, like, you can't sit there in like their situation and say you know how they feel, but you're there to like listen and understand. And I feel like once you get an understanding, it's like you can't take things so personally, whether the way they react because it isn't an outcome that they want. I think it's very important, I guess, just to establish that at first, just to like always remind yourself that, people are in different situations than, you are. And I think here, like with this, program, this agency, like that's where we have to step away from. And I think just, I guess, like portraying that and like establishing like a framework with your client is gonna set like the bar for like what you want to achieve with them, whether it be securing housing, rental assistance, and things like that.
I live with my parents in East Side, San Jose. Lived there most of my life, and I applied for Housing Choices, and I waited for a couple of years, and they found this place, and I decided to just have them here.
And how easy was it to work with Housing Choices?
It's pretty easy. I just give them a call, and most of the one over here, I just she helps me, and she always checks upon me as well. Just trying to make sure my life is better. I'm living good. Anything, you know, I tell her anything going on, anything's troubling me. Yeah, it helps.
Housing Choices takes a lot of pride in working with clients with disabilities, intellectual, physical, and developmental. A lot of the times when our clients have disabilities, they may not be able to advocate for their own needs. During the pandemic, the way the program was set up, where clients had to submit these applications online. It was straightforward, but at the same time, it was slightly difficult where the clients have to be technically savvy. For example, the staff was trained for the federal case management tool, Neighborly, and then our staff is trained for the state management tool called Uncork, and then we were also trained for the local system called HMIS and Salesforce. So our staff is trained to manage 4 different data management tools, and then our staff would manage between those 4 systems and make sure the client needs were met. They would make sure the clients were qualified. They would make sure their income was verified. They would make sure their bank statements were verified. They would make sure all the needed documents were uploaded in the system. And then we had 2 different segments. We had a section for the client and we had a section for the landlord. So our staff would actually make sure that the client data was uploaded on the client side and the landlord data was uploaded on the landlord side. A lot of the times when people are trying to work with technology, they may not be able to do the things with a lot of precision and with accuracy. This is where our staff did an amazing job. And they made sure once the application was submitted, they would follow up in a timely manner. They would make sure whenever the staff would call with a lot of anxiety, oh, I haven't received my rent, oh, my landlord is harassing me. Or, you know, when they have a 3-day notice, the staff would make sure they will connect them to the Law Foundation or to Project Sentinel or to the Bay Area Legal Aid. They would make sure somebody was there to hold their hands and to walk them through the process. So that was another thing that because of this partnership, a lot of the nonprofits and their expertise came together. Whoever was specializing in domestic violence or whoever was specializing in youth services or in disabilities or whatever their special domain or areas were, they all came together to serve the community in the difficult times. And it just did amazing work, and they made sure that the federal assistance was distributed in the most efficient, in the most effective manner to the people who really needed it the most.
This is one of my recipes that I made. It's the cheddar stuffed meatloaf. It's this one right here. And then my favorite food is Mexican, Italian, Chinese. I just like different kind of food, like food groups. So I usually eat that. Me and my roommate has 2 different areas that we share. One is his, one is mine. And then up here is our frozen stuff that we share. I make my own smoothies. I have my own blender right up here called Magic Bullet. I've been here since the year of 2009 in June, and I like living here. I work at Sonados Market over by the Rose Garden. Been there for over 16 years. my teacher from De Anza College got me the job there. I got to learn how to go surfing with a famous movie actor. And then right up here are my shark stuff. And right here, I actually have a picture frame of Arnold that wrote to me.
Wow.
Even if you turn right here, this is Joe Montana. It was a cutout from my work.
How do you feel about being by yourself and being able to support yourself?
It's a challenge because I have to learn how to take public transit and getting to work on time.
I love at Housing Choices because I love what I'm doing. I feel blessed to be part of this community. And it has been amazing 3.5 years, and I feel extremely fortunate to be here and doing what I'm doing. And it has just been an amazing journey. Housing Choices is making a difference because client is always the beneficiary. Anything and everything that we do is client-centered, and it's always for the client and will always be for the client.
Hello everyone, I'm Ron Soto, Chairman of the Board of Directors of Housing Choices. Welcome and thank you for joining us to recognize Housing Choices' 25 years of service. This would not have been possible without our communities, funders, donor support, and of course, the professional and caring work of our Housing Choices staff. We hope, after viewing our video, you will have an added perspective and value of Housing Choices' mission and the work conducted on a daily basis for individuals and families. On behalf of the Board of Directors, we ask that you consider, how can you join our work? Whether it be through board membership, volunteering on a committee, advocacy support, and or making a donation. Your annual donations are important to us, not only from a monetary perspective, but also from a sign of support for our client services. Please go to our website address below, hit on the donation tab, and contribute what you can. Any donation of any size would be greatly appreciated. Thank you for joining us and your support now and in the future. Thank you.